Would mapping my typically allow me to make stem cells or cells in the future?
Mapping your genome gives you your DNA sequence, but it doesn't allow you to make stem cells. You create stem cells, like induced pluripotent stem cells, through a process called biological reprogramming, using your own cells.
Cell repair. If you have an inherited genetic disease, scientists can use gene editing tools like CRISPR to fix the mutation, which happens during free radicals, which are happening constantly in the body through processes that are natural and unnatural. Within your living stem cells in the lab, once corrected, these stem cells can be matured into healthy replacement cells and transplanted back into your body. The International Space Station is scheduled to be decommissioned this year. It's still up there right now, and it's been up there since the year 2001. For commercial use of the upper atmosphere for private companies and testing. Meanwhile, back on Earth, we're having a turf war in the Middle East again, over hypothetical fuel reserves. Algae, a type of cyanobacteria, would be very effective for supplementing this fuel demand. However, current species that yield into biodiesel aren't effective enough to create biodiesel in yields that we demand for commercial systems, services. However, a species found in Italy by its volcanic geysers has a species of cyanobacteria that grows in very large, dense clusters of cyanobacteria cells. Aptly named Chonkus, this cell grows very dense, thick clusters of algae, 5 times to 10 times larger than normal cells that we currently use for conversion of biodiesel for algae. Plastic waste is also a key component to supplementing fuel demands in the conversion of fuel from plastic via pyrolysis reactions. By lighting and microwaving plastics inside of a chamber and allowing the fumes to liquidate at the bottom of the solution, it becomes back into its crude form, which is ultimately crude oil, that can be processed and distilled into a type of ethanol for commercial systems and services, and rockets. A potential solution for the fuel demand that is currently going on in this system that we have going on in Iran right now in the Middle East for hypothetical fuel reserves. They're not getting through there, they're just going to use it as an angle. The barrage is still locked up with lasers, and they used Habana as a hard breacher, so they're not going to be getting in through the, well, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be getting in through garage door. They're going in through hallway, back hallway, boat hallway. One's on main staircase. Got an angle on main staircase. Got him.
Last operator standing. Friendly's victorious. Hostiles eliminated.
Grassroots. What conditions would a Neolithic ape hominid decide to rub 2 sticks together to create enough friction to cause a reaction turning wood into carbon? They'd want to make a tool. Shaving down a tool with a rock would make it fragile and frayed. Using another stick would make it polished and smooth. It's smoking. Creation of combustion at this point would be able to make myriad of different materials by lighting it on fire. Similar to the process of hydrogen differentiating into more complex elements or cells differentiating into different complex cells from stem cells. Algae applications can be used in multiple different facets. Hybridization of a solar panel with a limited efficiency rating. Plants already have a higher yield of energy efficiency ratings than machines currently. The ability to convert sunlight into energy, the amount of energy going in versus the amount of energy being created. That's an energy efficiency rating in solar panels. Currently, our energy efficiency ratings in solar panels doesn't reach above 30%, and it is hypothesized that a hybridization of algae, which is a type of plant, a water-based plant that photosynthesizes, could potentially
10 seconds.
push that gap further closer together
5 seconds left.
between a higher energy efficiency rating and current
Op 4
machines.
located the bomb.
An algae photobioreactor would be a type of algae battery capable of turning electricity into usable energy. A photobioreactor uses algae species inside of a system, a cluster, that grows inside of a container and conducts electricity and absorbs sunlight in the process, turning it into energy. In one video, an individual was able to hook up a USB port to the end of a mason jar containing algae inside of it, which would be in the form of a mini photobioreactor. In this mini photobioreactor, he was conducting electricity through the process of photosynthesis and sunlight in these algae photobioreactor jars, creating a conductive current for his phone to charge on. Diffuser right here. Blackbeard's in front of me, downstairs, right in front of me. He's on window right here. Blackbeard's downstairs in the lobby. They're going for diffuser. Diffuser's in lobby front entrance. So it says. Getting inside. He isn't inside yet. He hasn't broken up in the barricade. Telomere length would be important to manage systems where you would have a telomere that is shortening in length. Telomeres aren't the ultimate cause of how a cell would be able to continue replicating new cells. Blackbeard is on me. As one ages, free radicals
One Op 4 remaining.
end up shooting little mini holes through chromosomes through multiple processes.
Eliminated.
So it would be important to have a mapping of someone's gene sequence, to have a base model to refer back to in case deletions or mutations occur in someone's sequence. In Fundamentals of Human Anatomy, Principles of Biomedical Science, Human Body Systems, and AP Bio, we learned about the many functions of the human body and different biology facets. Cells with telomeres that are shortening in length over time are a natural occurrence that happens from free radicals or mutations occurring, mainly from free radicals, which occur all the time. Oxidization is a type of creation of free radicals. Free radicals are basically anything in the body that is an unnatural interaction that causes the degradation of a cell. Oxidization occurs in respiration and waste removal in cells, which end up excreting and losing electrons from oxygen, being an unstable atom that is still used as a function in the body to respirate and oxygenate cells and blood. Oxygen is an unstable element that the body uses, and as a result, it creates an oxidative stress. So although it uses oxygen as a way of getting cells moving, it in the process intakes the hungry electron that is needed in oxygen atoms. Like how a atom would require 8 valence electrons in order to be stable and not need to be satisfied with another electron. An oxygen atom that has only 6 electrons around its valence circle would need 2 more electrons to satisfy itself and become a stable atom, like H2O.
You've located a bomb. Make your way to its location and defuse it.
Maintain control at all times. May the best operator win.
There are treatments for oxidative stress like intake of antioxidants, which inhibit the amount of stress that it takes for a body to use respiration. Waste removal is still an unavoidable interaction in cells that results in electrons being lost and shot out through the cell, which could potentially reach chromosomes and shoot through chromosomes, damaging them, causing deletions or mutations, which it would be effective to have a mutation mapping or a hypothetical genome, a literal genome mapping of someone's genome at a state in which they are healthy. A version of themselves that is healthy would be very effective to have in case someone were to be aging and needed a mapping of their healthy version of themselves to reorganize their gene sequence back to its original state. Blood pressure medication is very important for lowering blood pressure and effectively keeping aneurysms, strokes, and heart attacks from happening.
Piano corner, piano corner.
I feel bad for Neolithic ape hominids that weren't able to become immortal during their time by not using everything available to them to get it. The International Space Station is to be decommissioned this year after years of being in orbit in the upper atmosphere. Meanwhile, back on Earth, we're having a turf war with the Middle East over hypothetical fuel reserves. It would be important to have something more feasible to do to achieve immortality quickly, relatively, than to say be going to a desert planet like Elon Musk to look at the dinosaur bones of what used to be oceans. What